Hello everyone, my name is Joshua with Fixed Earth Free, and we are going to look at a tarot card now and try to discern its meaning. We'll lay a few other cards around it to help us understand that meaning. The thing I'm finding about living more authentically, and by that I mean just true to my actual core feelings and nature, is that when I was not quite so focused on authenticity, I found that I could, if I felt two opposing things, the stronger one got to win, or the one that I chose got to win between the two. And with authenticity, that's not an option. I have to really examine what it is that I'm experiencing or feeling in the moment. And if that's two different things, it's two different things. And that's an interesting challenge. And so, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. So I think right there is good. What do we got today? The Nine of Cups. I like the Nine of Cups. Look at this chipper fellow. The thing about the Nine of Cups is he is displaying all of his emotions. Okay, so topical. He is displaying all of his emotions out on this table. He's not hiding anything. He looks fairly content, doesn't he? But I don't think necessarily that this all the time indicates a card associated with positive emotion or with positivity in general. But he's just awfully proud of himself, and he's not anxious, he's not afraid, he's just laying it all out there, and that brings him peace. Relatable content. Yeah. I think for some reason I want to talk about the reversal of this card. I think in the reversed position, this would be perhaps an inability to regulate your own emotions. Upright, we're looking at a display of your emotions willingly and in a peaceful, this is me, this is how I feel sense, right? Reversed, I think we're going to look at something a bit more like, I have no choice but to show you my emotions. And I don't think that's what the upright card necessarily indicates, right? He placed these cups on this table intentionally. It's not as if the emotions are flowing out of him and he has no control over it. It's rather that he has chosen to display what is on an emotional level for himself. What's next? How are we going to look at this? The Tower. So even if things are absolutely crashing down and you feel as if the very foundation of who you are is falling, not hiding it. This is what I was talking about. It's not just a positive experience. It's not just the positive emotions that he's displaying despite his peaceful demeanor. This could be happening and he's just being honest about it. That's the main thing. We're going to place the Tower above. Below, we're going to place the Ace of Swords. There's an intellectual honesty associated with his display of his emotions here. It's not just a purely emotional display where he's pouring forth, like I said, and he has no control. There is a control. He has a grasp over his emotional, I have a friend now. He has a grasp over his emotional capability here, his emotional capacity, and he's able to express it consciously, intentionally. There is a conscious awareness of emotions associated with this card. It's not just bubbling up from the surface and out of control. There is a consciousness indicated here. To the left, we will place, the Four of Swords. That's an interesting one to see. He knows when to lay things down and to lay them to rest. When you gain a certain control over your emotional state, you're no longer necessarily trying to dredge up the past, keep score. It's okay to lay things down and just let them go. That's what this type of emotional mastery is going to indicate, I think. I'm calling this emotional mastery, and understand, I don't think that's necessarily what this card indicates, really. I think something more like the Queen or King of Cups would really indicate emotional or intuitive mastery. But there's something about the way this guy is just displaying them and allowing them to be and not fighting against that I think is really important here. And finally, we're going to lay down Queen of Swords. There's a lot of swords going on here. And in fact, I've never thought this before, but I would almost put the Tower in the suit of swords because it's so gruesome. But anyway, the Queen of Swords is, again, we're indicating a control here, a mental control. We looked at this last time I did one of these videos, and we noticed this freedom indicated by this bird up here. There are butterflies that are going to indicate transmutation, transformation, and it's a conscious acceptance of the emotional state, and a conscious acceptance of the emotional energies that allows the person to take what would run rampant out of his control and structure them through transmutation, transformation, taking something and turning it into something higher. And that's why am I drawn to the Queen of Swords little bracelet? What is going on there? Notice around her upraised wrist there is a red bracelet with a little tassel coming off of it. What are you, and why do I care? She has one on her other wrist as well. This is perhaps just a feature of her outfit. It almost reminds me of shackles, or like chains, restraints. I'm seeing as well now these twin moons on her throne. So there's definitely an emotional aspect here. Butterflies on her crown. What is that bracelet situation? Why am I thinking of cuffs, chains? Don't go there. I'm not bringing, we're not going there. What's her deal? What you got going on with that wrist? It's not just a chain or a shackle, it's a broken shackle and a broken chain. She's not chained to something like you would see on the Devil card. If this indeed indicates that she has in the past been shackled, she's free now. They've both broken loose. So what is that telling us? This level of emotional mastery and the capacity to let things die and let them go, and to hold the line, so to speak, mentally and emotionally, even in the face of what seems in that moment in your life to be catastrophe. There's going to be a breaking of chains, a transformation, a freedom, a mastery. Let me show you guys this spread. So, now, how are we going to take the Nine of Cups into our life and integrate that energy? I think for me right now, it has a lot to do with the authenticity that I started this video talking about. I think it has a lot to do with our just being real with yourself, being real with those around you. Hey, would you mind doing this? Yeah, I would mind. I don't want to do it. I'll do it because you asked me, but I don't want to. Which kind of sounds a little dickish, right? But that doesn't necessarily have to be, it doesn't have to come across a little dickish. I'm just kind of pissy right now. Just honesty, just real honesty. I was thinking about telepathy today. Somebody was talking to me at work, and I forgot what put telepathy on the mind. Oh, I didn't believe what he was saying. I believed that he was not being entirely genuine with me. And I realized that in a world where everyone's telepathic rather than having the capacity to say one thing and truly think or feel another, in that world, there is no, in a world of telepathy where we all just see inside one another, soul to soul connection, there is no hiding behind falsity. There is no dishonesty that you can really get away with. And I think if you wanted to take the Nine of Cups into your life today and really integrate that energy, what that's going to look like is take one thing in your life that you're fighting against. You know that one thing I'm talking about. You don't want to look at it. You don't want to admit it to yourself. You don't want, and maybe you have many things. If you have many, pick the easiest one first. Prove to yourself the concept that you can face this thing. Pick the easiest one. But if you have that one thing and you know what I'm talking about, face it. Look at it. I can tell you from experience, every time I've just chosen to go ahead and look at the thing, it hasn't been as frightening as what I pictured it would be. Every time, it's like by just looking at it, all of that tension and tightness melts away. I might be faced with something daunting. I might be faced with something unpleasant, but it's a seen and known daunting. It's a seen and known unpleasant. And so there's a certain emotional honesty that takes place there where you are willing to look at the thing. I give this example in some of my self-defense classes. The terrifying thing happens, or the most terrifying thing is the unknown, right? If I were to sit you in a room and turn all the lights off and say, okay, I'm releasing a rattlesnake in this room right now, you're gonna lose your freaking mind because you're not gonna know where that rattlesnake is. You're gonna jump up on your chair and you're gonna be panicking, right? Because you have no idea where the rattlesnake is. But if I sit you and I across each other and I dump that rattlesnake out between us and you watch it, you're gonna be afraid of the rattlesnake. Of course you are, it's a freaking rattlesnake. But what you're not gonna do is you're not gonna panic, you're gonna watch. You're gonna be very watchful. And as long as that rattlesnake doesn't come near you, you're not actually gonna feel that much fear. As long as you watch it. Let's say on top of that, you went ahead and took the effort to study rattlesnake behavior, to study the proper way to behave around rattlesnakes. Every step of that isn't going to make a rattlesnake a less frightening thing. It's gonna make your mastery of the ability to be around rattlesnakes greater and greater, and therefore your panic, the anxiety surrounding it, is going to dissipate. Look at the rattlesnake, man. Look at the thing. If you feel it, just feel it. Don't fight it. Don't push it away. That's how you're going to take this energy into your life. That's all I got for you, man. Get out of here. Once again, I'm Joshua with Fixed Earth Free, and I'm just trying to learn, man. I invite you to learn with me. Cheerio.